Comment your name and state below. I'd love to see who's watching and benefiting from these videos. Because what we're talking about today is something that can affect every single Medicare Advantage member in the United States. And honestly, it could be one of the biggest changes to your healthcare experience in 2026, even if you haven't heard a word about it yet. So let me start with a question. Has your doctor ever suddenly left your Medicare Advantage network? Maybe you found out at the appointment desk. Or maybe you got one of those thin white letters in the mail saying your doctor is no longer contracted with your plan. It always seems to happen at the worst possible time, right? Maybe you were in the middle of treatments, or getting physical therapy, or managing a chronic condition. And suddenly the doctor you trust is gone, and you're left with the stress of having to find someone new. Well, in 2026, that might change. And honestly, this new rule could impact millions of people, some in a good way, and some in a way they might not expect. I want you to imagine this story for a moment. There's a woman named Elaine living in North Carolina. She's 71, has diabetes, and sees her primary doctor every few months. One morning, she walks into the clinic, signs in, and the receptionist gently tells her, "I'm sorry, your insurance is no longer accepted here." Elaine is confused. She checked her plan's online directory just a few weeks ago. It showed her doctor as in-network. But what she didn't know was that the directory was out of date. The plan hadn't updated it. And under the old rules, they didn't have to fix it quickly. Now let's jump forward. It's 2026. And this time, everything is different. Because for the first time ever, Medicare Advantage plans are facing stricter rules about your doctor network, network accuracy, and how long they're allowed to keep out-of-date information listed online. This means if your doctor leaves the network, or if a specialist is suddenly unavailable, your plan can't just wait months to update the information. They have to fix it fast. And they have to prove their network actually meets the needs of people like you in your zip code. If you've ever wondered why getting a dermatologist appointment takes months, or why a cardiologist in your town is technically in-network, but not accepting new patients, these new rules are specifically targeting that. See, Medicare Advantage plans have grown so much in the last few years, almost half the country is on one. And with that growth has come problems. People were being told they had access to hundreds of doctors, but in reality, many weren't available, accepting new patients, or even still working with the plan. It created a gap between what looked good on paper and what was happening in real life. In 2026, the government is tightening those gaps. One of the biggest changes is something called Enhanced Network Adequacy Enforcement. I know that sounds complicated, so let me break it down in simple terms. It basically means your Medicare Advantage plan must prove, with real data, that there are enough primary doctors, specialists, and hospitals available to actually meet the needs of everyone in the plan. Not just listed on a website. Not just theoretically available. But actually accessible. Here's the part that might surprise you. If the wait times are too long, the networks are too thin, or too many doctors refuse to take appointments, your plan could be forced to expand its network, or face penalties. And for the first time ever, plans can't just quietly remove a bunch of doctors mid-year without following stricter rules. Now let me be honest, this can be good or bad depending on your situation. Let's take another example. David lives in Arizona and sees a specialist for his heart condition. Under the old rules, if that specialist suddenly left the plan's network, David might not find out until the last minute. And if it happened in the middle of a treatment plan? The burden was on him to find a new doctor. But the 2026 rules give patients more protection. If a doctor leaves the network mid-year, the plan may be required to offer continuity of care. Meaning, you might be allowed to keep seeing that doctor temporarily, under the same cost sharing, while the plan figures out a replacement. That's huge. But here's the part no one is talking about. The part that could actually narrow your doctor network instead of expanding it. Because in order to meet these new federal requirements, especially around wait times and specialist access, some Medicare Advantage plans are expected to restructure their networks. That means some plans may shrink their networks on purpose to strengthen reliability. Fewer doctors, but more consistent access. More specialists who agree to take new patients. Better oversight. But on the flip side, you might lose some doctors you currently see. This is where things get complicated. Some plans, especially those that already operate with tight margins, might decide certain doctors or clinics cost too much to keep in-network when new standards come into play. If a provider is unwilling to meet the updated contract requirements, the plan might drop them instead of renegotiating. And that could lead to unexpected changes for people who rely on those doctors today. I want you to imagine someone named Linda in Florida. She's been with her rheumatologist for 7 years, and her Medicare Advantage plan has always covered it. But in 2026, if her doctor's clinic refuses new audit requirements or documentation rules, the plan might say, "We're not renewing this contract." And suddenly, Linda's network changes, even if nothing about her health did. That's why this 2026 rule matters. It doesn't just tell plans to offer access. It tells them they must prove it. It tells them they must maintain accuracy. It tells them they must update real-time information. And it tells them they must reduce misleading listings and phantom networks. You know those directories that show 90 specialists, but only 4 actually take appointments? Those days are supposed to end. But with every reform comes a trade-off. More accountability? Yes. More accurate networks? Yes. Better doctor access? Yes, in theory. But also, potential network reshuffling. Potential changes in who stays in network and who doesn't. Potential new rules doctors must follow that not all doctors want to follow. Let's go back to the human side for a moment. Because that's where these decisions really matter. Think of someone like Henry in Tennessee. He's 78, he has COPD, and he depends on a pulmonary specialist who's been treating him for years. Under the old model, his plan might quietly adjust its network mid-year. But in 2026, Henry gets more protection. More warning. More continuity. More stability. But imagine the opposite. His specialist decides the new reporting rules are too time-consuming and chooses not to participate in Medicare Advantage networks anymore. Henry might then be forced to choose another doctor, even though he doesn't want to. The rule protects the structure of the system, but it doesn't guarantee every doctor will stay part of it. So, what does all of this mean for you? Here's the truth: if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, your 2026 doctor network will likely be more accurate and more honest. But it may also look different than it does today. Some plans will expand. Some will tighten. Some will renegotiate. Some will cut ties. And because of that, the doctor you see today may not be the doctor you see next year, even if you stay in the exact same plan. Let me give you one more scenario. Imagine you live in a rural area, somewhere like rural Kansas or rural Nevada. You already know your choices are limited. The new 2026 rules require Medicare Advantage plans to meet higher standards in rural counties, including travel time requirements and specialist availability. Some plans may step up and expand networks. But others may simply choose to pull out of certain rural counties because they can't meet the requirements. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you because this is the kind of change that doesn't make the headlines. It doesn't show up in commercials. You won't see Tom Selleck talking about this on TV. But it affects your health. Your access. Your peace of mind. So what should you do going into 2026? First, don't assume your network stays the same. Watch your annual notice of change closely. Ask your doctors if they're renewing their contracts. Check provider directories, but also call your doctor's office to confirm. And during open enrollment, pay close attention to any language that says network changes, service area adjustments, or provider restructuring. Those are the clues. And remember something important: no matter what changes come, you still have choices. You can switch plans. You can go back to original Medicare if it makes more sense. You can compare networks to find one that meets your needs. Don't let unknown changes catch you off guard. This new 2026 rule isn't about fear, it's about awareness. It's about understanding that Medicare Advantage is evolving. That doctor networks are tightening, strengthening, and reshaping. And that the best thing you can do as a Medicare beneficiary is stay informed, stay aware, and stay proactive. If this helped you understand what's coming in 2026, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment your name and state below. I'd love to see who's watching and benefiting from these videos. And if you want a breakdown of how your specific state is being affected by these changes, just let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.